Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, Tobackiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we are going to talk about how we acquire lighters. The vast majority of the time, and with I would say probably 95 to 99% of the lighters that I have purchased, whether that be to sell or collect, have been purchased online. There have been a handful that I purchased off of Facebook Market. There have also been a handful that have been purchased at pawn shops. Other than that, the rest of that 1 to 5% would be made up of antique stores, antique malls, vintage markets, and those sort of places. I may be leaving a category or two out, I'm not certain. Garage sales, but I've been to a lot of garage sales, but I've never bought a lighter at a garage sale. That is sort of how I got around to going to these local antique malls on a regular basis. Is last spring, my mother and I, spring into the summer, my mother is retired and has plenty of time on her hands, just like I do. So every week we were going out to the garage sales, and she found plenty of stuff to buy. I never found anything. Maybe an ashtray or two, I can't really recall. But I never bought a lighter at a garage sale. But the fact that we weren't finding any lighters, ashtrays, Tobackiana, other useful mechanisms at the garage sales is what led us, that and the colder weather, is what led us away from the garage sales and toward these antique malls, which are really a lot of fun. If you have not shopped in these, if you haven't gone in there looking for old lighters and the other kinds of things that you collect, then you're really missing out on an opportunity. I've never walked in one and found a big cache of 1940s boxed Zippos. I've never found anything more exciting than a Cygnus lighter, which is pretty exciting to me, being that's what I collected before I really even considered myself a Zippo collector or a collector in general. I was accumulating those Cygnuses without even knowing it. Basically, what we are talking about here is what you hear on the Facebook lighter groups referred to as finding lighters in the wild. Not listed on eBay with the description and everybody knows what they are. I guess the term in the wild would mean unidentified to some extent, or maybe it just means not on the internet, in the real world. So whatever the term means, you see it used a lot when people are talking about antique stores and finding lighters in pawn shops, gas stations, things like that, in the wild. So that's what we're talking about. As I said, I listed off a bunch of other scenarios earlier. I don't remember ever finding one at a garage sale. I may be missing another category or two. If I have, then leave that down in the comments. That's one reason why I'm making this video in the first place, is to tell you what my experiences are, and hopefully in the comments you can give me some of yours. Maybe I can learn something from you about where I should or should not be looking. So you look at a lot of stuff, you see a lot of stuff that, for me anyway, is really, kind of boring. I like seeing the old smoking stands. I like seeing the old tobacco tins, but those aren't really things I'm going to buy. If the smoking stands were of the right price, then I would. You've seen the two of those that I have. But I run into those all the time that are priced so high, even the ones that are just, say, made of wood with a glass ashtray. Seems like they want a minimum of $75 to $100 everywhere I go. And that is a complaint that I hear often about finding lighters in the wild, or going out and looking for them at antique stores, garage sales, and those kind of places, is that you never find them. And for the most part, I would agree with you. It's a needle in a haystack. Sometimes you walk into store after store after store, just like I walked into those garage sales week after week and Finally, something appears, and you see that familiar shape of a cigarette lighter, and then maybe your hopes are dashed suddenly because you realize, oh, it's just a butane lighter. But then you look a little bit deeper and, oh man, there's a couple of petrol lighters back there. Maybe that looks like a Zippo. A couple of advertising lighters. And I ended up purchasing these two. What I thought at the time were advertising lighters. This one is an advertising lighter. The other one, I'm not sure what kind of emblem, if that's an organization or something that was just, I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss. Had the one advertising lighter for Bob Cantwell, has several places listed there in the region, several cities in Oklahoma, and it looks like maybe also one in Arkansas and the Texas Panhandle, an oil field business, I believe. I'll have to look a little bit deeper into that. Of course, we'll have individual videos for all these lighters. And that lighter I paid $10 for. If I had been paying more attention, I probably wouldn't have, but I don't really regret it for the 10 bucks. It'll display fine and nice in my collection, but the lighter is damaged because that flint spring screw was not screwed all the way down, and the insert therefore was being jammed down with the lid and forced the hinge into a position where it is looser than it should have been. So I don't know, maybe I'll use it, maybe I will just display it in my collection, but for $10 and for the opportunity to make this video, I don't regret buying this lighter. The much nicer of the two is the, well, it is marked Crestcraft, which some of you will remember that, and that will remind you of another video, and we'll talk about that when I make the video for this lighter. But it is a nice applied emblem of the state of Oklahoma, and it has some different cities marked on it. I believe it's Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and then Fort Sill and Tinker Air Force Base. So I guess 2 cities and 2 military bases. Very nice. Very nice. Very glad to find that lighter. And it was a little bit interesting to me, as clean and everything as this lighter was, that when I opened it up and got a look inside, that it did not have any wadding, wick, flint spring or screw, or anything for that matter, other than just the empty shell of the insert. So that's no problem. We'll get that loaded up and rebuilt. I have got plenty of Park Industries flint spring screws sitting around. As I said, it's marked Crestcraft, but I'm certain that's a Park Industries lighter. That's pretty cool. That's the first one of those Park lighters that I have found that is marked Crestcraft. So I look forward to making that video. Then we also have the other 2 lighters there in the background, which have come in the mail over the last few days. The Whirlpool advertising lighter is actually a Windmaster, and it's the first Windmaster that I have come across with a pipe insert. So that's really cool. I've been using this lighter the last couple days. It's a good lighter. The other one is a Park lighter that I've mentioned in another video. I paid more for this lighter than I have any other Park lighter, and I do not regret it. I missed on a similar lighter. It was identical, only not in good a condition, from the same seller several months ago, and I've really been beating myself up over it. And then what do you know, here comes the identical lighter in better condition. It was listed as brand new, and it may have been, I'm not certain. It came out with a lot of soot and dark discoloration when I cleaned out the inside of that windscreen, but whatever. It makes absolutely no difference. There were also some flint flea bite type marks on the insert and along the rim of the case. I got all that cleaned off, and it seems to be undamaged as far as corrosion or any actual long-term or permanent damage that occurred because of the flint that degraded and is still stuck in the tube. So once again, we'll get to all that later. You guys know what kind of videos you can expect. maybe a repair video or two from the group, and then of course the individual videos that you'll get for each lighter as well. So again, just wanted to talk for a minute about the way that we acquire lighters. And of course we all know about buying them online, buying them on eBay. And I just wanted to talk today about the antique mall, the vintage market, flea market, whatever you want to call it, whatever you have in your area. Maybe we'll have other videos in the future. Well, if I could ever find one at a garage sale that I could buy, or maybe check out some pawn shops and that kind of thing. But you guys let me know as well how you like to buy your lighters, or where you find success. Are you mainly a guy that just patrols eBay, browses those listings for certain search queries, and that's just about as far as you're going to go? Or do you get out and check out those nooks and crannies in your local area? Until next time.